Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Radford!
Yo.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
So you got to play with something that a lot of people, in fact, I got a caller on the radio show asked me about this week. It's the HP Envy X2. This is a Windows 8
Yes.
Ultrabook?
Yes, it's a Windows 8 hybrid.
What's
And
that mean? Yeah, I heard that hybrid word. What does that mean?
So this is a term that the industry is using a lot now, where you have the tablet and a keyboard combined together to make it somewhat like a laptop.
So you can detach the tablet and carry it around.
So it looks like.
Boy, it looks, it's not, is this metal or, yeah,
it's
that's nice. Brushed
nickel,
aluminum? Yeah.
Aluminum, but yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a little bit hard to open up, but.
Yeah, it was kind of stiff, wasn't it? Yeah.
But for the most part, looking at it, the construction's pretty sturdy.
Here, hold your end down. I'm going to tilt it back so we can
Yeah.
see the screen.
Here you go, right there.
Yeah.
There you
See
go.
it
Yeah,
over
can you
there.
guys see that?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a pretty looking screen.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. This is actually not full HD. This is actually 1366 by 768.
Oh, I hate
It's
that.
11.6 in the diameter of the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Then this thing's also not as powered as some of the stuff that you've seen out there, like the Surface Pro. You know, you use the i5 and you have the i7 out there.
Right.
This one is
This is
actually a
Atom.
dual core, a dual core Atom.
Yeah.
And
That seems to, they go hand in hand. The lower res 1368 screens seem to go with the Atom processors, and the 1080p screens seem to go with the i5 and i7 processors. Yeah.
So this one's kind of aimed after the, I could say.
It's a low cost.
Yeah, a low cost type of
Yeah.
hybrid. But it has 64 gigabytes of storage.
Solid
and you have
state.
solid state, and then it's powered by the Intel, graphics chipset. So no NVIDIA inside or anything
Right,
like that.
right.
And then 2 gigabytes of RAM.
So yeah, it's kind of a netbook almost.
yeah, it's kind of like a netbook.
Yeah. Is
but-
it priced like a netbook?
Well, I guess we'll get to that point when
Okay.
we get there. But it runs a couple of things pretty well, which is surprisingly from the dual core, but it's lightweight in terms of how speedy it is. So I'm just going to fire this up. So
That feels fine. But, every Windows 8 machine I've seen
Yeah. It's
scrolls
snappy.
just fine. I
Yeah.
think that's Microsoft worked
Yeah.
hard to make that snappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is once you start running stuff, like even if you're just running the browser and you head back to the
1000,
desktop.
1000.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
You head back to the desktop. It's still smooth, but the moment you start running more than one task, then you start to see it bog down just a little bit.
Only 2 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, and it's even more so when you start running games.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a huge gamer.
Yeah.
And I run a ton of games on this.
Certainly not a gaming machine.
No, definitely not. But surprisingly, you can run a couple of things, with decent frame rates, so it's not too bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, let me see it undock. Can you take it apart for me?
Let's take it out right here.
Oh, look at that. So, as a tablet, what do you think? I mean, it's fairly lightweight, right?
Yeah.
And it's good looking. I love the metal back.
Yeah.
I always find that the 16:9 tablet screen's a little odd.
Yeah. Check this out. I have my iPad over here. Look at the comparison
Yeah.
between the two. Look at
The
this.
iPad's 4:3,
Yeah.
and this is 16:9.
Yeah.
This seems more natural, maybe just
Yeah.
because we're used to it, right?
Yeah.
But for watching Netflix or movies or TV shows, I would guess 16:9 would be a better choice. You don't have the letter bars, right?
Yeah. And it runs pretty fine. So when it's running video on HD, in this case, 1366, it's
Well, it's 768, so it's only 720p, so it's not HD.
It's not really HD,
Not
yeah.
true HD, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also got, it has
Full
a couple of
HD.
ports in here, so if you check this
Oh,
out.
yeah, underneath. So I see the docking connectors, but what are these 3 ports here?
So this one is actually just to mount it, and this
This is
is
the
an actual
docking.
port.
And that's
so
a
that's
port?
a charging port as well as
Okay.
a dock for the keyboard itself.
Uh-huh.
And then you have your volume right there on your left hand, and on your right side you have
Volume rockers right there. And
you have your power.
on-off switch right
Yes.
there. Okay.
There is one little thing though that you have to check out. It's pretty cool, but somewhat hidden.
I'll let you do it.
It's actually right over here. If you can see that shot, this is a micro SD.
Oh, that's
there.
nice. So you can
Yeah.
add RAM. It only has 64 gigs, but you could put as many as 64 gigs.
Yeah, unfortunately
SD.
you can't put apps on here, but you can put all like the
Okay.
media and things like that.
That's
it's
great.
kind of scary.
So it's
putting
data
micro-
data storage, yeah.
Yeah.
And I see it has a front and rear camera.
Yes. So the front is actually they call it 1080p HD TrueView or whatnot. And then you have the rear running at 8 megapixel.
Oh, that's pretty high end.
Yeah.
All right.
That's pretty decent. I could even show you some pictures later on.
Sure.
And then on the keyboard itself, you have a couple of ports here.
Is there an extra battery in the keyboard?
Yes.
So that gives you more battery
Yeah,
life.
it gives you just a little bit more juice.
Yeah.
So, but it's running with the keyboard. This thing is incredible battery life.
I see an HDMI port and a USB port. I
Yes.
see a sound
You got your-
jack.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
you have over on this side you have about you have a USB over here.
Yeah,
If you can see that, but yeah.
And what is that last one there? Is it
This one is a charging port.
Charging port,
So
got
that,
it,
yeah, it's
got it.
proprietary from HP. But yeah, it's pretty decent in terms of what you're asking for. But if you're trying to do productivity things and stuff like that, it works fine. Running Office and all that stuff and browsing the web.
Right.
Once you start, I guess, opening more and more browser windows and start running games, and it starts to get a little
and you
crazy.
Can you buy it with more RAM, or is that just the
No.
only? That's
Yeah,
how it comes.
That's how it is. They say they have an option, but it's mostly based on the speed of the RAM versus just...
I think that's an Intel thing, isn't it? That they said you can use Atom, but you can't put more than 2 gigs. We don't want to undercut our i5 sales.
Yeah.
So what are you loading here? A game?
I'm actually loading a game called Guns for Hire, just to give a very general view of how the performance is on this machine.
And it is touch, right?
Yeah, this one is touch-based. This particular game is touch-based. And we'll just go ahead and just start running out in and wreck the place. This is similar to...
Well, that's pretty good. 3D
Yeah.
rendering.
Yeah, it's not too bad. This is an Intel,
Wow.
based...
Is HE4000 on the Atom, or is it something different?
I'm not totally sure,
Yeah.
but...
You know, Intel's gotten a lot better with what I used to call motherboard graphics. I don't know what you'd call it this day, but built-in graphics processing. That's not bad. Now it's a top-down adventure, so
Yeah.
it's not as demanding as a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it
would
starts
be.
to get bogged down once you start putting
Does
a little
it?
bit more units into
Yeah.
play.
Now, HP owns Beats Audio, so how's the
Yes.
audio on this?
The audio is decent. I guess coming out of the speakers from the tablet itself, they're okay, but I'm an audiophile, so I expect way too much.
Yeah.
On the headphones, they're fine, but it's a
Is
little
it
bit...
Beats? Is it heavy
Beats
heavy
audio,
bass?
Heavy bass,
Yeah.
but of course you can't really tell unless you have really high quality headphones. For myself, I have the actually using the Soul headphones.
So you're
on it.
pretty serious
They're-
about
yeah,
it.
and it's
Yeah,
decent.
Turn
Right.
it up.
Let's turn it up a little bit.
Does it get pretty loud?
Yeah, it gets pretty loud. Let's turn it up just
That's
a little
important, I guess, if you're going to sit around and watch
bit.
a
Oh
movie
no!
on
Here
it.
comes the bog down.
Quick! Oh, you didn't get it in time.
There you go.
It is loud, tinny, but loud.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Tinny.
That's not bad. Yeah, tinny.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of slow-mo parts in this game. Let's see if I could finish this part. But yeah, it's pretty decent. Yeah, I
All
suck
right,
at this.
Stop playing the game, Radford. Step away.
You can tell he's a
Trying to
gamer.
stop. There you go.
All right.
You put him in front of a video game and
Yeah,
he
he
just
can't
doesn't
stop playing. That's
So
great.
here's, notice now that it's not as snappy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
Yeah.
is stuff that's running in the background. Oh.
Oh, you froze it.
Yeah, I killed it. That's
Is
what
it
happens
dead?
when you have 2 gigabytes. Yeah,
Okay, well, that's good.
that'll do it.
Okay, let's. You ready for the pros and cons?
Yes.
All right.
So on the pros, it has incredible battery life, good construction.
Like how long? Like 10 hours?
Actually, 11 to 12 hours.
11 to 12
yeah,
hours.
it's ridiculously good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you have.
It's beautifully built. I like it. I like the metal.
Yeah, I like the design. It's a
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
very solid construction. and doesn't get too warpy.
HP's dumped, or at least on this model, the mirrored lid that they were doing. That just was a magnet for fingerprints.
Right.
So I like this a little bit.
So there's a couple of things. I have my little cheat sheet over here because
Sure.
I can't seem to remember. It can handle the productivity software pretty well. It runs Netflix, it runs all the videos and whatever. And of course, it's full Windows 8.
Right.
And on the con side, this thing is also fingerprint mania.
Yep. Yeah.
It stutters when running stuff in the background, and then the performance obviously is not there. So depending on what you're doing, what kind of apps you're going to want to run, then it may or may not be for you. And then of course, it's a lower resolution than what you're probably seeing.
Yeah,
out
I'm
there
not
right
crazy about, what is it, 1368 by
now. Yeah,
7?
1366 by
1366 by 768. Not
Yeah.
crazy about that.
Yeah.
All right, but
So-
you got to give us the price now. You were holding out on me.
Yes. So the price right now is the price now is $649. The original price is $849.
At
so right
$849, that's way overpriced.
Yeah.
$649, that might not be so bad.
now- not so bad with a
Yeah.
keyboard too. So
Right.
there's a lot of tablets that are out there that are just tablets. And
That's
I have a
roughly the
keyboard.
cost of the Surface RT, and that's Windows RT, not Windows
Yeah.
8 Pro. So this is a full version of Windows, yeah. Yeah. So you got to decide, buy, try, don't buy.
You know what? It's a try for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly because I'm a performance guy, but
Not for you.
Yeah,
It's not a
but
buy
for-
for you, but it might be
yeah.
for somebody who wants to save money.
Yes, definitely. Definitely a low end.
The HP Envy X2, thank you, Radford.